Tubes and Wires, Part 5. No clowning around. It was Baby. She held you still as she stared into your terrified eyes with pure worry. A shaky breath escaped your trembling lips as you suddenly clung to the red-haired animatronic, now crying. Baby engulfed you in a safe, warm hug. "Don't be afraid. I'm here," she whispered. You sniffled and lifted your head to look at her. I thought that was ENNARD. Was... You flinched as you heard Funtime Freddy bang on the door, laughing like a maniac. "We'd better get out of here. Follow me," Baby implied, leading you through Bellora's gallery and into some other room. It resembled some sort of control room, and Baby then turned to look at you. "Did Funtime Freddy hurt you?" she asked, glancing at your arms. She noticed a large bruise near your elbow and gently held your arm to look at it. "What happened?" she asked. You could see the guilt in Baby's green eyes when she asked the question. "He threw me against the wall," you quietly replied, looking down at the floor. You couldn't stand to see Baby's sadness. It made you want to cry. "I'm sorry. So sorry," she said, suddenly pulling you into a hug. For what? You didn't hurt me. I let him hurt you. I should have warned you about the breaker room," she replied, releasing you from a hug. She took another glance at the bruise and sighed. "Baby, I'm fine. And besides, I would have had more than a bruise if you hadn't have saved me," you said, smiling assuringly. She thought of your words and shifted her faceplates a little as a smile formed on her face. "Well, this is the control module. It's how we get to see each other's show's area," Baby explained. You looked around at the new area. There were many things that could take your mind off what happened in the break room and took your interest instead, like the weird, blinking, baby-like heads and the puppet thingy. That was similar to Ballora. All of them being placed on two separate filing cabinets. As you two continued examining the room, Baby walked over to one of the filing cabinet drawers, pulling them out. Some type of wrench. "If you were wondering, ENNARD is in my circus control room," Baby said, crawling through another vent that was between the file cabinets. You watched as she disappeared, leaving you all alone in the control module. You looked to the right side and noticed a large glass window. There was also a metal box with two buttons on it. One blue, a sun symbol on it, and one orange with a bolt symbol on it. "What does the orange one do?" you asked, moving your hand to press it. You jumped and turned around to see Ballora in the window. Her faceplates opened so you could make eye contact with you. You stared at her blankly for a moment, and then pointed at the orange button. Ballora shook her head, meaning that you shouldn't press. You nodded in unknown understanding that she then closed her faceplates and then spun away into her gallery. "Are you still in there?" Baby called from her room. Oh yeah, coming," you yelled back, crawling through the vent and into the circus control. The room was filled with many buttons and flashing lights, which made you a little dizzy. It also had a large glass window over the desk of buttons. There was also another metal box with the same buttons as before. "Over here," Baby called, catching your attention. You looked over at her and noticed that she was working on ENNARD. "ENNARD!" You cheered as you happily ran over to him. You furrowed your eyebrows in worry as he didn't move. Baby noticed your concern. "Don't worry, he's powered off at the moment due to some repair work that needs to be done." She informed you using the wrench as she got in earlier to fasten a bolt on ENNARD's leg. So that was the problem, you thought to yourself. Baby fastened a few more wires and then mentioned to you, "Step back," as she dragged ENNARD into the circus performance area behind the glass. She then stepped out of the room, shut the door, and raised her hand to press the orange button that was on the metal box. You let out a gasp and then jolted forward, pulling her hand away from the metal box. Don't press that," you shouted, remembering that Ballora had warned you about the button. "It's okay. ENNARD is used to this," she quietly assured, pressing the button. "We all are." You didn't hear the last part due to a loud shock sound which made the room behind the glass flashing white and then go dark again. What happened? Is ENNARD okay?" you frantically asked, running up to the glass, peering through the darkness. Baby pressed the blue button, which turned on the light for a few seconds. You saw nothing in the room. Baby, where is he? You asked in a worry as the light went off. The doorknob to the room turned and out stumbled the dizzy clown animatronic. He accidentally walked into the wall and fell to the ground, making you smile in relief and run to him. Are you okay, Ennard? You hit the wall pretty hard, you chuckled, helping him up. The robot clown let out a whirring sound and nodded his head. Baby walked over to the two of you and glanced at Ennard's leg. Maybe that bolt will stay in place this time. Don't be clowning around too much, understand? Baby joked as she walked to the control desk to fix the flashing light problem. Ennard nodded and followed you through the vent as the two of you then crossed Ballura's gallery to your room. Kevin was eating some sunflower seeds as he rested on his wheel. Hey, Kevin, sorry I was gone so long. There was a little trouble holding up, you greeted, tapping on his cage. The small hamster looked up as you chitted and understood, eating his seeds afterwards. Ennard was wondering what you meant by trouble hold up. It sort of worried him. He turned you around and looked you in your wide eyes, holding your shoulders to keep you still. What? You asked, acting like it was nothing serious. Given no answer, the clown animatronic started looking you up and down for injuries. He spotted the bruise near your elbow, making him let out a worried croon. He gently lifted your arm to look at the bruise as you grinned and looked down. You knew he needed to know what happened, but you also knew that he didn't need to lose his cool. You then felt him guide your face to look back up at his. He stared into your eyes, asking for an answer. You slowly grasped his metal hand and held into your smaller one. Ennard, if I tell you what happened, promise me you won't freak out, you asked in a stern tone. Ennard blinked and then nodded. You took a deep breath and let his hand go. The bruise is from Funtime Freddy. He threw me, and my elbow got between me and the wall, you explained, gulping nervously. Ennard suddenly let out an angry snarl and turned toward the door. He busted out of the room and stormed towards the breaker room. You gasped and bolted after him. Before he could get halfway through Ballura's gallery, you caught up to the angry animatronic and ran in front of him. He gave you a confused look and gurgled. Ennard, calm your gears, okay? I'm fine, you said, panting from running so fast. He growled in denial and tried going past you to stay in front of him. I'm not letting you by, you claimed, crossing your arms. Ennard opened his faceplates and glared into your eyes, his blue orbs glowing in the darkness. It made you a little scared, but you kept your ground. You should listen to her, Ennard. Ha 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 ha. A terrifying voice laughed. You spun around and found Funtime Freddy yards away from you and Ennard. The Bonnie hand puppet wasn't attached to his hand. He must have found out that it was a distraction dummy and left it in the breaker room. Well, 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 what do we have here? That little brat from earlier. The animatronic bear yelled as he took a step forward and laughed like a maniac, obviously not threatened by Ennard's presence. The said clown animatronic snarled at Funtime Freddy, walked up and stopped right in front of you, and the mechanical bear, menacing smile, blue eyes glued on you. You knew you're kind of cute, but that doesn't matter around here. He laughed, reaching for you. Ennard quickly pulled you away and punched Funtime Freddy in the face, making the bear twist around and stumble back. When he turned around, his faceplates were loosely hanging open, revealing parts of metal endoskeleton beneath his frame. Oh, is that how you treat your fellow friend? Or would I even consider you that? Funtime Freddy growled as he closed his faceplates. I didn't want to be rude in front of our new guest, but it seems that you must have made a switch flip in my servos, you rusted piece of scrap metal. The animatronic bear then bolted towards Ennard. His pupils now dilated toward nothing but two pinpoints. Ennard jumped when Funtime Freddy was in front of him and kicked the robotic bear to the hard floor. The clown then looked over in your direction and scared for you to run somewhere safe. You were stunned with fear. You didn't understand him at the moment. Funtime Freddy jolted to his feet and bolted towards you again. Ennard quickly pursuing after him. You snapped out of your stunned state and ran for your life. You knew how powerful Funtime Freddy was, and if you were correct, Ennard was no match for the robotic bear. You then got an idea. You bolted towards the break room where Funtime Freddy stays. If you could manage to get him in there, you could lock him in for good. With the door wide open and Funtime Freddy right behind you, you ran in the dark room and hid behind the tall breaker box. Your glass glance revealed Ennard stopping in front of the door. He suspected that you had a plan and hid behind the doorway. Let me know what you thought about it. If you liked this part, let me know if you want a part 6.